Today's session is going to be a little different. It's not where an intense chapter officer orientation. This is more of of how to get you started, to give you the tools to learn, lead, and make an impact. But when you have these resources and these tools, you'll be able to go back and as a chapter officer team working with your advisor, be able to build upon everything that we talked about today. So I don't think that I don't want you to think that you're going to be sitting here and we're going to be doing this heavy dive into chapter programming or even society programs. We'll give you an opportunity later on in the year to attend additional sessions where we'll break things down like the 5-star chapter plan, college project, and of course, honors in action. So plenty of more times for us to connect and work on learning these very essential programs of active chapters, right? So today it's just giving you an opportunity to understand your role as a chapter leader and how to start making that impact on your campus. So we're going to break it down into 3 sections. After each section, during each section, if you already know of a best practice or have a best practice at your chapter that you would like to share with us, put it in the chat, whether it's an activity that you use for ice breaking or playing a game or taking a break or how to keep track of things or best communication, put that information in the chat and we'll be able to, you'll be able to share it with everybody else. The second, we'll just start off with learn, we'll move on to lead, and then those ways that you'll be able to make the biggest impact as a chapter officer with your chapter. So before moving on, one of the first things is I wanted to say to you on behalf of the entire student engagement team, we're really proud that you're serving as a chapter officer this year and a chapter leader. It's really something special when you make that commitment to stand up and step up. So thank you. And we want you to know that every step of the way, along with your advisor, your chapter advisor teams in college, we're here to support you. So if you have any questions along the way, please put them in the chat as well. So are we ready to get started? Yeah, I think so, right? So I'm just going to start out with a question. So how many of you right here, right now are feeling a little nervous or anxious about your role as a chapter officer? You can use the reaction button or raise your hand or any of that. Kind of like, yeah, what did I get myself into, right? Right. Well, I have my hand raised too, right? Because I felt the same way when I first began to serve as a chapter officer. And right now at this moment, I'm a little anxious and nervous and concerned because I want to make sure that I'm able to help you not to feel that anxiousness or nervousness, right? We may even be thinking that out of all of the attendees here today that we are the only one that's nervous or anxious or not sure about what we're supposed to do as a chapter officer. But guess what? Right? You are here today. That means you are taking action on your nervousness and being anxious. And that's the first step, right? So despite how you might be feeling sitting in this meeting, I don't know anybody. I don't even know that many people in my chapter, let alone all the officers that are across the country. How am I going to make myself feel any better? You took the first step by being here. So let's all take a deep breath. I'm going to too. Let it out. Release the nerves and fears and know that one of the best ways to be courageous is to face the fear. And that's what we're doing today, right? So deal. Do I got a deal? Everybody's got a deal? Very good. We're on this. So let's talk about your learning, Chapter Officer 101, right? This is the short list. This is really the most important list that you should know on how to be a successful chapter officer. Number 1, maintaining academic success should be always up front and center on the top of your list every day, all the time, right? Nothing should come in front of your academic success. And to maintain your academic success and serve as a chapter officer. And by the way, who works full-time? Who works part-time? Right? Who has a family to take care of, who has parents to take care of. Sure is a lot to manage, and maintain academic success and take this leadership role on with the chapter. And so how do you do that, right? Time management is essential, right? Time management is essential in maintaining your academics, working, taking care of your family, and serving as an officer. It provides a way, good time management provides a lane of focus, I like to call it, right? It provides you that improved focus so you can dedicate a specific amount of time to a project or a task, because it'll keep you from multitasking. Although I know everybody in this room is guilty of multitasking at one point or another. Right, Ryan? How many times have we said we are not going to multitask
all day,
today?
every day.
Every day, right? And you know what happens with multitasking? We're led to believe that we're really doing a really good job because we're getting more things done at once. But if we take a step back and look at it from 30,000 feet, we focus on one thing at a time. We're doing that one project more justice than it would be than just scrambling to get it all done, right? So it's imperative as a chapter officer that you work out a schedule that you're comfortable with, where you set the specific times for each task that you need to do in a week. Break it down, your educational goals, your academic schedule, all of the things that come with being a chapter officer, and making sure you have those dates on your calendar and time to prepare for those things, and include time for, your family things and work. And then also I encourage everybody to make sure you're putting in time for play in your schedule, right? Because it's so important to just take a time to just do nothing but have a good time and learn other things through play. So if you hear a message about play a lot, you're going to see why at the end of this. It's super important that you focus on play as a chapter officer this year. As a chapter officer, one of the other great things that'll help you be successful, 3 things: being flexible, right? You need to be flexible in all matters. I know we just said you have to be really focused about time, but you have to be flexible in the sense that not everybody's going to be able to meet at your time. You might have to miss a meeting. You might have to view it as a recording. There could be an event that you really wanted to attend, but you couldn't. You might have to adjust by a half hour or hour, but being flexible and in all matters, not just on time, like especially on the way things are presented or an idea, being flexible and willing to learn and willing to make a consensus as a group is key to being a good chapter officer, right? As chapter officers, we expect everyone to be inclusive of all students, all members, everybody on your campus to be a part of everything that you do, regardless of their PTK membership status. And we'll talk about that a little later. Inclusive regardless of their academic program. They may be in a certificate program and they're on campus and they want to know more about you. Include them. Be inclusive of everybody on your campus to be a part of the opportunities of making an impact on your campus. And being supportive, right? I'm sure everybody can, close their eyes and think of many supportive people in your life that are helping you get through your schooling, right, through your education. It's the same way. What's one of the greatest things about having an engaged chapter is that everyone supports everyone. If someone was signed up to do something and they couldn't do it because of another something else came up and someone else steps in, that's about support. And you never forget that, right? Or you miss notes out of a class. It's really great to go to a fellow Phi Theta Kappa member and say, look, I missed algebra. Can you share the notes? Being supportive with one another is a great way to forge friendships and teamwork and build a team that is there for each other 24/7. I don't know if a lot of you are on social media and that's one of the fun things I like to see when chapter officers and chapter members are together supporting each other in something that they're passionate about, right? You can read the body language with the team, how they're really proud that they worked through this and they supported each other through the challenges, because it's not easy sometimes, right? They supported themselves through the challenges and the failures, and they found themselves to be very successful. And so supportive is really important. So flexible, inclusive, and supportive. One more thing, well, 2 more, but most important, this was actually a lesson that was in our advisor curriculum, and I read it and it just struck me like, my gosh, I know I read this once, but it really struck me this time because it just kind of feels like it needed to be said. Like a lot of times when I've worked with regional officers and chapter officers when I was an advisor. They come into the role and they have this level of, I need to be perfect because I'm an officer, right? And I can't make mistakes. And I have to do everything just like the team before me did, because that chapter president before me was an outstanding officer and I have to walk in their shoes. No, that's not what this is about. This is about you forging your own path, making your own path, learning as you go along. It's about trying, failing, learning from failing, trying again, and for as long as it takes so you feel that you have succeeded in a project. That's what Phi Theta Kappa is all about. It's about excellence and not perfection. It's about learning. It's about development. It's not about strapping that medal on and, all right, I'm an officer, I'm perfect, I don't need nothing else, right? It's about charting your own path through the chapter. And along the way, the other most important thing about all of this is, as you are developing your leadership as an officer, in the back of your mind, you are finding those 1 or 2 or 3 members that are coming to meetings and sharing your development with them so that they may want to think about taking a leadership role on this time next year, right? And you know who that helps? That helps the chapter, that helps the students, and most importantly, the advisor, right? We want to help our advisors out a little bit and find our the officers that come after us, right? So remember, excellence over perfection, and that's what this is about. And have fun. If you're a chapter that's all business, I promise you're going to check out before the end of the fall semester. You need to have some fun. And Ryan's going to talk about intentional fun in a little bit, but every meeting should be like an icebreaker or start out with something fun. A game of bingo. I don't know. I thought of like, does anybody play Wordle, get like totally frustrated by Wordle lately? But like putting that on a whiteboard and having like a chapter, have that before a chapter meeting, who can guess it first, even if you're using it on dry erase. Think of some of those ideas to make it fun. Go bowling, go to a movie, right? Maybe it's do a service project together, that like cleanup project or a day on the beach or whatever it is. Insert fun into this, because fellowship is one of our 4 hallmarks of the society, and that's one that should be celebrated just as much as the rest. So you have to have fun as a chapter officer, or it's just going to become aggravating and too much like a job, and you're going to say, now, why am I doing this? And why I say why am I doing this, that's the other thing. It's really important as a chapter officer that you know the why and that you're sharing the why. You are sharing the why you're doing this, why it's important to make an impact, and how serving as a chapter officer is beneficial for you as a student, as you move forward in your careers, whether you're going into the workforce or transferring, and how Phi Theta Kappa has helped you along the way. So that's our chapter officer 101, right? That's all of it in a nutshell. And we can talk about this for hours, honestly. But if you have any questions about anything on this, we can talk about this later, or we can or in another session. So I'm going to turn it. Next thing, we're just going to talk briefly about chapter operations, because that's really one of the best things. Like, how many of you have been thinking, well, how do I run a chapter meeting? I don't know how to do a chapter meeting. What do you mean I got to take minutes? What do we do with the minutes? All of those types of things. Well, I don't know how to get a room reserved for a chapter meeting. I don't know what times I can use that room. Well, there's a person on your campus that I'm sure you know he or she very well, and it's your chapter advisor. And as a chapter advisor, I am going to say this, former chapter advisor, so is Ryan and so is Susan, we are always the best resource you can have as a chapter officer, right? We are the liaison between Phi Theta Kappa and your college administration. We serve as the liaison between you and the college administration. We are the letter writers. We are the coaches, the mentors, the person that knows how to set the room reservations, that we do the finances, we do all that. That's the role of the advisor. And the other most important role that they have is as coach, right? They're there to coach you through your term as a chapter officer, right? They're very busy. They usually have, almost all of them have a full-time faculty load, or they're on the support side of student services and they have a full-time job. They have families too. Sometimes they've been voluntold to do this, but most of them love doing it because they volunteered. once they get a full year under, they're addicted to this, to witnessing the student success that happens through engaging in Phi Theta Kappa. I'm telling you, absolutely your best resource, and you should build a fantastic relationship with them so that you can work together in building this chapter. One of the other things I often say, and I was a former regional coordinator, and I often said to the advisors that they were the anchor, right? They're the anchor. They're the only ones that are there. They come in, they have this great officer team, they do great works, they become the most distinguished chapter sometimes, and the next thing you know, they all graduate and then they have to start all over again, right? But the advisor is there, and those advisors just love it to start all. They do. They love to start all over again. And why? Because they're student success champions, right? They are there for you to get the most out of your opportunities in PTK membership. So please, 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 always have a great working relationship with your advisors. Always clear things with them. Like, don't ever, how do we say this? Jump the line. Like, if you have this really great idea, you share it with the advisors. You don't go straight to the college president's door by knocking and say, hey, I got this great idea, right? You need to work with the advisors. That's the best way to move your chapter to all sorts of levels of success. They are also the caretaker of chapter leader resources, right? They have all of the things that are pertinent to your chapter. There are, what's the number? Close to 1,300 chapters. I can't remember the number. Every chapter is different. Every chapter does things different, from inductions to meetings to all of that. There's history sometimes that are involved in chapter resources for each chapter. And that's what you get from the advisor, right? You work with the advisor. How do we do an induction here? You know, do we follow Robert's rules in our chapter meetings? You know, how do we do an election? Those are the things that you work with your chapter advisor. That's why we say they are the best resources. But then there's you, right, Ryan?
Exactly. So with that, you have chapter leader resources. So this is what Patty calls the self-help section. So this is where you can get all of the working knowledge that you need right at your fingertips. So there's different, and you don't need your advisor for this. You could still, we want you to use your advisor. We want you to ask your advisor, but here are things that you can get right away. So if you're wanting to look up your 5-star chapter plan, you want to see the progress you're at, there's a link for that. The activity guide for chapter leaders. So you're here for your chapter officer and leader orientation. The activity guide for chapter leaders is a great resource to have, to be right by you, to look up how to do the 5-star chapter plan. There's resources in there and activities that you can do as a team, virtually and in person, right in the activity guide. It's super amazing. Patty and I, when we were first introduced to it, we were like, where was this when we were an advisor? Because it's just a great resource. You can download it and you can print it off for all new chapter officers, leaders, and I would just give it to your members, new advisors, administration, just so everybody can be on the same page and see the different and great resources that you can use throughout the activity guide. Yes, Jackie. So at the end of this session, all the links that are in this PowerPoint and along with the PowerPoint will be emailed to you by the end of the week. So you'll all be able to bookmark all of these great links onto your computer so you can have it right away. The honors program guide, you'll be able to go in there. So if you were able to come to Catalyst, you were able to get the actual hard copy of it, which is really pretty and amazing. But you can also download it. So you can share that with your administration. You can share that with your whole chapter team, just so everyone can see it. You can touch it, you can feel it, you can write in it. It's a really great resource to get you started for your honors in action. We have the 2 journals that are published. So Change Makers, which is the Journal of Student Leadership based off of the college projects. So some of the college projects that will be published are in the Changemakers. And then Civic Scholars is the undergraduate research journal where some of the honors and action projects are published into that. And then the leadership development studies, Susan is going to talk about that a little bit later, but it's a great resource just to get your team started on what is leadership? What is the philosophy of leadership? What is your leadership philosophy? How to work as a team. Patty was talking about, we're going to talk about it a little bit later too, but learning about your leadership style and how to work with others and what that means. So leadership development studies is a great resource for members and advisors to take for free online. And these resources that are for you and available at your fingertips are what? Free, which is super amazing. And then there's professional and development courses that I'll talk about a little bit later too, with our PTK edges. So these are all available for you in the self-help section. So until you get this PowerPoint and the links, you can go to ptk.org and they're there too. You just have to log in, which is really great. And they're always there unless, you know, your Wi-Fi is down or the internet is glitching or something like that, but they're always there for you.
They're always there, and they're always great idea makers, right? So if your chapter is getting ready possibly to talk about college project and you don't know where to start, definitely pick up that Changemakers journal, right? And take a look at some of the best college projects that happened a year ago. The new ones are coming out soon. The next edition soon, but they'll get posted. And then if honors in action, if you want to know the process that a chapter followed, or if you want to, as a chapter officer team, get ready to set that process up and put those steps somewhere, take a look at what some chapters did for their honors in action, right? And so all of these are all about helping you prepare for success and getting your chapter ready to engage in programs, right? So this is your arsenal of goodies, right? All right. I think, Ryan, it's okay. We're about to lead, right? This is the lead section. We're going to develop your leadership because there isn't any more important person than yourself to develop leadership skills with, right? But while you're developing your leadership skills, we want you to help others develop theirs. Do it in a teamwork philosophy, right? Bring on members. Like say if you're going to, and Ryan will talk about this in a minute, say you're going to take a look at competitive edge one afternoon in a lab, bring some members with you, right? Do it together. You get to know each other. It's part of fellowship. You're supporting each other. You're being flexible, and also you're being inclusive, and you're helping yourself while you're helping others. So just take a look at PTK Edge. And one of my favorite leadership programs is the Leadership Development Studies, and we'll hear from Susan in a bit. So all of these things are geared for you to develop your leadership and also share it with others. So let's get started with that, with the edges, Ryan.
So when we're thinking of the edges, let's begin with the brief overview of the EDGE curriculum. So we know that each course, and maybe you don't, each course was designed for a unique purpose. So we have 5 edges: healthcare edge, competitive edge, transfer edge, employment edge, and research edge. Our newest course that we have is the healthcare edge, which explores the soft skills needed for majoring in the healthcare field. But even if you're not majoring in the healthcare field, there is a self-care module that everyone should take, just so you know how to take care of yourself, because sometimes we forget about ourselves, and ourselves is important in order to be successful, in order to be a great leader, in order to be an amazing advisor, in order to be that servant leader that we know all of you all are. You have to take care of yourself. So everyone should be a part of the healthcare edge and take that self-care module. And then when we're thinking, like Patty said, regarding the competitive edge, this is going to help you as a student, as a leader, strengthen your soft skills needed to help you go into any profession. So it's going to give you that, like it says, competitive edge again over others who are applying for the same job or applying for the same scholarship, applying to get in the same school. It's going to give you that edge. Then we have transfer edge. This is for the students who are planning to transfer to a four-year institution. You should complete this. It's going to give you the tools and the skills needed and help you prepare for applying to that next school, to your transfer school of your dreams. It's going to help you. It's going to tell you what schools are best for you with your major, what schools are going to give you the best programming, stuff like that. So that's what Transfer Edge is helping you out with. And then with Employment Edge, it's going to help you be successful when you enter the workforce. So if you have been just schooling the whole time and you haven't really been out there in the workforce and you're like, hey, I need to figure out, how to update my resume. What is a cover letter? And do I have to do a cover letter for every position that I'm applying for? Yes, you should do a cover letter for every position that you're applying for. So Employment Edge is going to give you those skills to help you be successful when you're applying for a new job. And then to develop research skills and prepare you to participate in Honors in Action project, you should complete Research Edge. So if you have questions about Honors in Action, I don't think we're talking about that a lot today, but Susan can answer all of those questions. But with Research Edge, it's not just, for Honors in Action, which is helping you prepare for that, which is great, but it's also helping you prepare to do some scholarly research when you're doing your English papers, when you're doing your psychology paper, whatever. It's helping you be a better researcher, a scholarly researcher. So with all of the EDGE courses, which is really, really great, they're free. And they help you. It's like a team building activity also. So you can take this as a team, as a chapter officer team, and you all can be on the same page with taking the edges. You all can better prepare for, like Hayden said, the EDGE courses are very helpful, especially Research Edge when it comes to Honors in Action. So that's going to help you and your team be better prepared when going through the Honors in Action process. It's just going to help you research better. It's going to help you think better, and it's going to help you mesh better as a team when you're all working together and seeing the same thing. Competitive Edge is also another one when you're thinking about doing your Honors in Action projects or your college projects. How to have the competitive edge over other chapters when you're trying to win Honors in Action or a college project hallmark. So with that, that's what PTA edges were designed for, to help you be better. And again, we're here for our chapter officer orientation. So learning how to work as a team, the edges will help you with that too.
Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah.
I often, one of the things that I would always ask my chapter officer team to do prior to getting started with anything would be to complete Competitive Edge and Research Edge. I think those two give you a jump start, right? Competitive Edge gives you, some information, gives you the soft skills, strengthening your soft skills, being able to speak in public, doing presentations and things of that nature. So if you want to, get a little more confident in that, I would definitely do Competitive Edge. And then Research Edge. If you are the chapter officer team that's going to be leading your Honors in Action, you need to be knowledgeable of it. And honestly, I'm telling you, when Research Edge came out, I said, we needed this 20 years ago, right? It is a prerequisite, a precursor. It's one of the very first things you should do as a chapter officer, and anybody at the chapter should complete Research Edge. And it's not just for Honors in Action. It's also for what you're doing in the classroom. It's also what you're going to do in the future at university or in work. So those are the two I would pick. And the next thing I would definitely pick, Susan's going to talk about next.
Hey, thank you, Patty. I'm always happy to talk about our Leadership Development Studies curriculum. And I think, one more slide. There we go.
Yeah.
The course is online, fully online. It's free to all Phi Theta Kappa members, alumni, chapter advisors, And the great thing is if you're really trying to maybe bring some people in the hopes that they'll become members, or you want to share with your collaborators, that people beyond Phi Theta Kappa can access the course for $10. So it's a really great deal. It's a really wonderful curriculum. It's 30 years old now, and we change it up every 5 years. But it's really good if you're a chapter officer, you're a chapter officer team, and you haven't started through this course. There's so much you can do with it. We have 10 units. The course is online. You have to go all the way through Unit 1 in the course online. But there's so much good stuff in there, including, if you're a chapter officer, we have TED Talks. Shonda Rhimes' TED Talk is about saying yes to things, particularly when we're a little bit nervous about them and we want to get things done. It's a really wonderful TED Talk and a great leadership lesson that you can definitely use as chapter leaders and Phi Theta Kappa leaders. There's also in Unit 1, there's value sort, and Patty alluded to this, and I really highly recommend it. Unit 1 is all about developing a personal leadership philosophy, and in looking at value sort, it helps you determine a personal leadership philosophy and what you value most, but you can use it as a team as well and go through the different values and talk about what matters most to you as a team. And the really cool thing about that is that you can keep what you develop as a team and come back to that throughout the year and reflect and say, hey, are we holding true to our values that we determined as a team? And it's a great team building exercise. It can help keep you on track. I highly recommend value sort, again, individually and as a team. But we also have, all sorts of other things there. We have excerpts from literature, Victor Hugo's Les Miserables, William Shakespeare's the Henry VIII. We have L. Frank Baum's The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. Some really interesting things, and you think, well, wait a minute, what can you learn about leadership from The Wonderful Wizard of Oz? You check out Unit 10, Empowering Others, because we talk about some of the ideas about how you can really work as a team and develop others. For those of you I saw in the chat looking at Honors in Action, in our 2022-2023 honor study topic is the art and science of play. Unit 2 has a really wonderful TED Talk. I think it's 21 minutes by Jane Goodall, and talking about her work and her activism with chimpanzees and with the environment. And it fits right in with the art and science of play, as well as with leading by serving. So there's lots there. We're going to talk more about College Project, but take a look at Unit 4, Articulating a Vision. That is something you will use as a team when you work with your college administration for the College Project. So take a look at the Leadership Development course. It really is wonderful. I'm high on that. Some of you may have chapter advisors or faculty on campus or administrators who are certified to teach the course. And so take a look. I saw when I sort of glanced through who was here, I saw Mary Linder, and I saw Liesl Harris, and I saw Susan Morris. They are all certified faculty for our Leadership Development Studies course. So, take advantage of having those coaches and people who know how to teach this curriculum. They can facilitate a lot of this. So that's my pitch for the Leadership Development Studies course and the resource we've got for you. So much good stuff there. And I am going to turn this back over to Patty.
All right, thanks. I'm going to stop sharing just for a second and just take a look at that. Wow, I get to see all your faces. Wait, this is good. I want to see everybody. Before we move on to the next part, lead to engage. Does anybody have any questions or any comments, concerns? No, we're good. Catrice is here. Hi, Catrice Qualls. I don't think she can hear us. Very good. All right. All right. Hi, Catrice.
Hold on one second. I'm trying to get my microphone.
Okay. Okay, we'll come back. We'll circle back around after we get to the next.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Now we can. Yes.
Gosh, I'm having the worst time in the car here. My microphone is going crazy. My whole phone is going crazy. I am so excited to be on this call with you guys. This is such an amazing time, and we are so excited to have each and every one of you dynamic leaders with us. This is going to be one of the most impactful decisions that you have ever made in your life. I know people believe that this is just the largest international honor society in the world, and it's an organization, but it's so much more than that. It is truly a destination. I always say, for me, it's been a passport. It's been a passport that has opened doors that would never have been open to me before. So for me, my why is that for everything that I had ever experienced in my life, which was a myriad of adversity, one storm after the next. In fact, I had just experienced a tsunami before becoming a member and an officer of Phi Theta Kappa. Was literally going through a whirlwind. I had literally just left my home. I was going through a very tumultuous, abusive time in my life. And I want to share this. I want to be really transparent with you right now, because I need for you to understand that for anybody that's on this call, that for anybody that has ever went through an experience that you didn't know how you were going to get out of, and you didn't believe that you have family, and you didn't know what the pathway was going to look like, guess what? You just walked on that right pathway. I had begun, and I had started my community college experience, what I call the CC Smart experience, because community college was the best experience that I had ever made in my life. But joining Phi Theta Kappa was the game changer. I had been in my communications class, and I had just started. I was beginning a presentation, and I looked out into that class and I saw people speaking. I saw people laughing in the back of the room. I fell out. I ended up having an anxiety attack, a panic attack. Didn't even know that I had suffered with anxiety and panic. So I became fearful. I passed out and ended up in the hospital for 2 days. And in the time that I was in the hospital, I had to ask God, is this really right for me? Is this what I wanted to do? Because I thought in my mind, I want to be a social worker. I had been in front of the chair in the field of cosmetology for years, but I knew that working in the community that I was working in and watching so many people suffer, that I needed to be behind the chair. I needed to be able to work in the trenches so that I could help people, but I didn't have that voice. And I was so afraid of speaking in front of people. Well, guess what? Phi Theta Kappa helped me to change all of that. Being around each and every one of you, having doors open to me that otherwise would not have been open, helped me to not only overcome that fear, but it gave me the realization that that I had the power, just like each and every one of you, to not only overcome these challenges, but to make a profound impact in the lives of other people. So I went on to become a VP of communications for my chapter. And that led to me eventually running to become the Division III International Vice President of Phi Theta Kappa. And in that time that I have become, the International Vice President of Phi Theta Kappa, I've had an opportunity to not only learn to overcome my fear of speaking, but to keynote speak at some of the most amazing events, in front of some of the most wonderful chapters, in front of many of you guys. But above all of those things, having some of you in the audience to come up to me afterwards and say, Catrice, I want to thank you for sharing your story. I want to thank you for sharing with us one of the biggest things that I've shared, which was something that I thought that I would never share with anybody, which was that over COVID, I ended up leaving my home and I had to become homeless in order to become free. I'm going to repeat that because I know that may not have sounded right, but I had to leave my home and become homeless in order to become free. I had to leave an uncomfortable situation of my own accord voluntarily so that I could become free of the bondage that I had put myself in, because I was emotionally distraught in a situation that I thought that I could not overcome. I didn't have the means. I didn't know where I was going to go with my children, and I was horribly afraid. I went to the ATM and I was going to try to make a withdrawal, and I knew that I only had a little bit of money in the account, and I didn't know what God was going to do for me, but I knew that he had to do something. In that moment, I stuck my card in, but I had been applying for scholarships, and I hadn't heard anything back. I ended up sticking that ATM card in the machine, and when I looked at that balance, the balance said $3,500, and I was thinking in my mind, this can't be right. So I was so afraid. I looked at my daughters, and I'm like, something is wrong. Stopped what I was doing, and I went into the bank, And I told them, I'm sorry, something is wrong. I went to withdraw money and there's money in my account that cannot be mine because I don't make this much money. So she looked at me and she says, no, your job put this in here. And I'm like, not my job, not at all. And so she said, Phi Theta Kappa, made a deposit into your account. So I'm looking at this, and in this moment, I'm in tears now, right? I can't even drive. I have to pull over off the road. I want to share this with you to say that I want you to back up and rewind for a minute for me to just say to you that from one moment to the next, I had no idea where I was going to go, whether I was going to be sleeping in my car or not, whether I was going to try to go to a shelter or not. But in that moment, I was reminded that everything that I had put in Phi Theta Kappa was then pouring back into me. This girl that no one believed in, this girl that graduated from high school with the lowest GPA on the planet, this girl that had been told, absolutely not, you can't thrive, you're not going to do it.
I think we lost her, everyone, but if she jumps back on, we will.
Yeah.
We will
Catrice
Catrice
emailed me this morning and wanted to help out, and we knew that she served as a chapter officer, and I couldn't think of a more inspiring example of servant leadership than Catrice. And so she does have a powerful message, and if she hops back on, we'll get her to finish. But as you can tell, Catrice started out as a very anxious chapter officer, and look, she served as an international officer, and she is an outstanding representation of what you can do if you put your mind to it and work together as a team and take all of the opportunities that are offered to you as a Phi Theta Kappa member. So we'll continue, okay, with our program. Let me share my screen again. Let me see if I can do this right. I think so. I think I'm getting to be a pro at this now, Ryan. I'm getting better at sharing the screen. All right, so let's get into engage to empower, right? Really important section, because I don't know if you've had a chapter meeting yet or you've attended chapter meetings prior to you taking the leadership role at your chapter, and you kind of get like disgruntled because it's just the chapter officers at the meeting and maybe one other member comes in, and it's only a handful, and everybody has an excuse on why they can't come to chapter meetings, right? We want to give you some tools on how to build that team and get them excited and inspired to come to meetings, to engage, helping you, give you the tools to help them find their passion to use as they engage in PTK to increase engagement. You want a chapter that's our goal, right? To build these strong chapters that engage in so many of the things that are offered, especially even outside of Phi Theta Kappa with the college, right? We believe that an engaged student is a successful student, and that's our goal. And we're going to talk to you about how you can share the why. You know why you're here today. You know why you're doing what you're doing, right? You know why something in you said, I'm going to be a chapter officer. I'm going to step up into this leadership role. I'm going to learn more about the society. How do I get others to see the importance of it and why it's good to do? So we're going to turn it back over to Ryan, and she's going to talk about building your chapter team.
All right. So when we're talking about building your chapter team, that's, encouraging your members to step outside of their comfort zone. Encouraging them to run for a leadership position, whether that's the chapter, regional, or international, or be on a committee, whether that's on your chapter committee, or sometimes your colleges has committees that students can be on, but helping them grow, helping them with their professional development, helping them be better and greater for what's coming up next. So building your chapter team, having them do something on the team, like just a member. So if they're not an officer, if they're not on a committee, just having them assist with something that you're doing on campus, asking them to set up the awareness campaign booth, playing to their strengths, because that's going to encourage them right there to end up running for a leadership position. They're going to be like, oh, okay, it's not that bad. I can do this. Asking them to help out with the community service project that you're doing on the campus, just making sure you're asking them, and say, hey, I saw that you can do this. You would be great at helping us out at involvement fair or club rush. That one ask is worth a whole bunch, because in the end, they're going to be like, oh, okay, they can see that I can do this and I can do this. And then next year they end up being chapter president or something like that. So, which is really great. And then the other ways that you can build your chapter team is not only just hosting those campus events for members, but host them for non-members too. That also motivates those non-members to join, because, they probably got the invite and they're like, what is Phi Theta Kappa? I don't know. But then when you're doing a event that involves everyone, they're going to be like, oh, this is what Phi Theta Kappa does. I want to be a part of this. I want to be a part of this chapter. And then when you're doing the events for non-members, they also invite their families, the community comes out, and it just brings more awareness of your chapter. So when you're building your team, make sure the other one that's on here too, that when I learned about it as a chapter advisor, I was like, why wasn't I doing this anyway? Invite provisional members. So some of you have dual enrollment, and some of your high school students, they're like, oh, I'm still in high school. I don't know. I just started, like at the college that I was at. Most of those students were started taking classes in the 10th grade. So they really weren't paying attention to Phi Theta Kappa, but they were like, oh, I want to join something. So I'm like, hey, you can be on as a provisional member. And once they were able to come to our meetings, participate in some of our events and activities, the next year when they were a junior, they were my VP of leadership. And then the next year when they were a senior, they end up being the president. And then they end up going to a university, and they had scholarship. So it was just amazing. It was like you were helping them double the time, because they were doing it in high school and in the college. So inviting them to be a part of it, even though they might say, oh, I don't have a 3.5, I only have a 3.0 right now. Hey, stick with us. You're going to meet some amazing people who are already, who can tutor you, who can help you be better in your classes. When you're bringing students around, like-minded students, they're going to start to thrive. So inviting those provisional members is really, really important. And then again, just organizing events and asking. Asking is a big thing, because you never know what that person's talents or what they can bring if you don't ask. And then sometimes they don't know what they can bring or do if they were never asked. And then Patty, if you want to go to the next one. And then increasing engagement. So how do we encourage members to be active without being overbearing or pushing? So I know I just was like, ask. But how do we do that? And then how do we find members to participate? Some of you are probably like, oh, we started out strong in the beginning of the semester. We had 25 students come. They became members. It was super exciting. And then we only had 5 at the end. So how do we get more members to participate? By putting yourself out there, by doing things as a team. So when you're doing an event, make sure your whole team is out there. Make sure you all have prepped to be ready for that event. Then you're probably asking, everyone's too busy. Or how do you pitch engagement to your chapter members? Again, you have to build your team, do team building activities. So building that rapport, host those team building activities, conduct icebreakers at the start of each meeting. And what I used to do all the time was have fun. Now we met every Thursday at 3 p.m., but one of those Thursdays out of the whole month was just having fun. So Patty said, go bowling, go to the movies. I live in Arizona, so you're probably going to be like, Ryan, there's no ice skating out there. Oh, it is. There's some ice skating rinks out here. So you can go ice skating. We get fake snow in the valley. So go and have fun in the fake snow and throw snowballs or something like that. But build that rapport. Again, give responsibility. Delegate roles that provide a sense of ownership and help to develop their social and leadership skills. Believe it or not, I'm an introvert. So after this, I'm going to need to just take a break, and it has to be really quiet for me. But if I had never worked in student life and leadership, I probably wouldn't be here talking to you all today, because I was given some responsibility. I was put in front of a whole bunch of people, and now I'm able to talk to 109 people right now, you know? So delegating those roles. That way you develop your leadership and social skills. And then one of the really cool things that that's in the activity guide for chapter leaders is Member of the Month or Spotlight Showcase. So Member of the Month program is highlighting one of your members each month. You can put it outside of the student life office. You can put it where your chapter sits or meets, or where you have a space on campus, but showcasing that member each month, that's really, really, really great. And then every member is going to want to be showcased every month. So it'll bring out a new and engaging type activity where everybody gets to know Phi Theta Kappa and Phi Theta Kappa members, which is really good. And then your administration is going to see it and be like, oh, that's a really great student. We should ask them to be on this committee. Or, hey, let's get Phi Theta Kappa to do this and do that. Also, share some PTK member success stories from your chapter, your region, and across the society. Look at scholarship applications together. What are they looking for in an engaged student? You know, go over those scholarship applications together. The more ideas, the more heads that are together, that are brainstorming, everyone wins with that. Check out the transfer scholarship partners of PTK. What are they offering to each and everyone? And kind of make a spreadsheet. I know you're like, oh, I got so much to do, but once you can see it and visualize, it makes everything so much better. And then with those transfer scholarship partners, does it depend on more than a GPA and PTK membership? So when I talk about student life all the time, that means I'm saying get engaged, get involved. You know, make sure student life is the best place to do all of that. You can join other clubs. You can work there as a student. So you can be a work study student. You can be a part of different events and activities that are happening. If there's a student recognition ceremony that you all have on your campus, ask to be a part of that planning, because you get the insights, the behind the scenes type stuff. So, you know, try to figure out what else you need to be a part of the transfer scholarships too. So as a team, and that's a team building activity too, because you're all working together. Next one, Patty. And then Catrice's back. And then I think she's back. I did let her in, but Catrice talked about a little bit about her why and why she is where she's at and why she made the decision to be a Phi Theta Kappa member, and then on to being now a prior international officer. So show them the why. If you're having students who are like, I don't know if I want to be a part of it, or even your new members, show them the why. Talk about networking. It's an amazing opportunity for you all to network with people from across your college, the different colleges in your district, regionally, so the different colleges within your region, and then internationally, so the different chapters within the whole society. So also, you get what you paid for. Increase your return on the investment in membership. So I used to tell students all the time, our membership fee was $85. So if you get a scholarship for $1,500, you just made a profit of what, 14.25, 14.15. That's a huge profit. So your membership it was already paid for and you got it back by a scholarship. Also by being involved, doing a leadership position, that's an investment. And Catrice talked about that a little bit. Again, networking to open more doors of opportunity. You get to work side by side with campus administrators, staff, and faculty. That's really huge because some of those people are going to be the ones who write your letters of recommendation. And they're going to be able to see what you did. You're showing them that understanding leadership roles aren't just for officers. So I talked about that a little bit, getting those members active and being a part of it without being an officer. Develop the leader within and learn how to work with other leadership styles, which is really important. Once you learn your leadership style, learn how to work with others' leadership styles, which is really important. Show them they have the ability to work and lead. Show them that they can increase their critical thinking, communication, and teamwork for now and in the future, such as with their honors and action projects, college projects, and moving on when they go to the four-year university. Become more competitive for scholarships and demonstrating grit. Everybody has it. You just have to learn and bring it out. And I'm going to turn it back over to Patty.
All right. Well, thank you. Yep, that's definitely, you know your why. You want to share your why and then also add to it that these are the things why engaging in Phi Theta Kappa to get the most out of their benefits. This is the important stuff, right? This is the why, and they should make those connections with that. And again, this is another topic we could go hours and hours and hours and talking about, but we're going to keep going because this is the best part, right? Impact, right? Be the change that you want to see. That's one of the things that when I served as a chapter officer, I am in love. I have always been in love with the service hallmark, right? And it was an opportunity. That was where I felt most comfortable with, right? Because I wanted to be that person. I was going into the education field. I was working with special needs children, working with children that did, and older adults that couldn't read. And it just happened to be the service project of the year, America Reads. And that was what got me connected to servant leadership and being able to changing the world. That's how you get passionate about something. You don't want to be the ones sitting on the sidelines and complaining. You want to be the ones that should make the change in the world. So we have programs that will guide you as chapter officer teams and chapters to be the change that your chapter wants to see, that you want to see in your community through the 5-star plan, through the college project, and honors in action. And we're going to break those down in a little bit to show with you what you will gain from engaging in these projects besides making an impact. Okay. So we're going to just real quick talk about the 5-star plan, right? When everybody gets this at their chapter and they'll go into the meeting room or in the advisor's office and it's hanging on the wall and the advisor says, we want to be a 5-star team, and everybody and all a 5-star chapter and the officers look at it and they go, I'm out. That's too many check marks, right? I don't got time for that, right? But it's more than a checklist, right? Every checklist on here relates honestly to a workplace skill that you get to practice, right? And members get to engage in and practice. And that's what you get out of here. Setting goals, right? We want the chapter, you as the chapter officer team, just set the goals for the chapter. What are you going to do this year? If you were a 5-star chapter last year, I bet you're a chapter officer sitting there right now going, oh, we got to keep that 5-star. We're not going to be the ones that's going to go to 4 to 3. We're keeping that 5. If you're a 3-star chapter and you're like, we were at Catalyst and we saw those chapters up on stage winning awards, we want to submit a college project, honors and hallmark entry and honors in action. We're going for it this year. Let's find out what kept us from getting there last year. Let's be the team that brings it to 5-star. Some of you might be, we're just reactivating. We have never been out of 1-star, but we know we're going to be 5-star. And I love that kind of thinking because you know what? This is the plan that will get you there. It is a step-by-step plan. It keeps you from having to reinvent the wheel. This is what chapter officers should have a good knowledge of, and working with the advisors to make sure that you're making forward progress, right? And along the way, we talked about setting goals. You'll be more organized. It sends a lot. There's nothing better than feeling organized in your position. Like if you're not, I'm speaking for myself. If I'm not organized in something, I feel like I'm doing not such a good job, right? So organization is key, and this provides that. Communication, right? You have to communicate your goals. You have to communicate process. You have to collaborate with others, whether it's a college administration or outside collaborators. If you're doing a service project in the community, teamwork builds teamwork. It takes a team to do this, but guess what? If there's only two, you have enough people. Takes teamwork, a teamwork of at least two, right? And you want to build upon that. And accountability, the 5-star chapter plan, just talked about it a minute ago. If you were a 5-star chapter last year, you know you're going to hold yourself accountable to keeping that same level and continue the legacy that the chapter is leaving at the college. So definitely all of those skills you practice at now, and then when you go into the workforce and also at university. But the other thing about this is too, there's no right or wrong way to do this list. You don't have to go, all right, let's get every single one under 1 and every single one under 2. No, it's as you progress through it. And we will do a deep dive about the 5-star chapter plan and invite you all to it in the month of June. And we'll talk about that later. But now I'm going to talk to you about the next part of impact that you can make. So I'm going to turn it over to Jennifer Stanford, our Vice President of Program Implementation. Is she back?
I'm back.
All right. Yay.
Thanks, Patty.
All right.
Thanks. So sorry. Apparently, Patrice and I both are having the technical issues today. So glad to be here. And we hope, I know throughout listening to this orientation, I hope that it's really the message is ringing in your ears that you are not alone. We are here to help you with all of the goals that you've set for yourself. And even if you haven't set a goal yet, being here is what will hopefully help you set and achieve your 5-star chapter goal. We've been doing this for years, and we know that every chapter has the potential to be a 5-star chapter. So that's what we talk about, because there are really 2 primary projects that every chapter will do on your way to being a 5-star chapter. And the beauty of those is that, as Patty has said, you're building those skills, you're getting your resume and a scholarship application, celebration stories to share, to impress potential bosses, hiring managers, scholarship providers, and admissions counselors with the activities that you're going to do in Phi Theta Kappa. And so that's what all of our programming is ultimately about, is giving you a real competitive edge, if you will, to achieve your goals. So College Project, it really is true that every successful chapter has not only a strong, engaged advisor, but also a college administration. And this is your chapter's opportunity to say thank you to the administration and to help them with one of their mission and strategic plan priorities. And so you're going to be working together with your administration on this project. You're not going to do it by yourselves. You can even work with other student organizations on campus to fulfill any project that relates to your college's mission or priority. So know that this is not a PTK program that you're trying to make fit for your college project, but it truly is what the college needs student support and help with at this moment in time. And so we're going to do, as Patty said, also, we're going to do deep dives with all of our sessions this year on individual programming, but we just want you to see the steps of a college project that are fully broken down, and know that this is something that you can review later and certainly reach out to us. I won't get into the specifics in the interest of time, but all to say that the most important thing is that you're taking this seriously. You've got a college administration that wants to work with your chapter, but you want to be sure that you're following the protocol that's appropriate for your campus. And your chapter advisor is going to be the best person that can really make sure that your chapter knows what those protocols are in terms of setting up a meeting, finding that college mission and strategic plan. Usually it's on the website, and really preparing and following through with whatever project your chapter and the administration jointly agree to do. So we really know that that pays huge dividends for a chapter. You know, you want your college president to be at important chapter events, especially those induction ceremonies, and all the support that they give, whether it's traveling to a regional or international PTK conference, and so many other things. I mean, there's so many other networking opportunities that your chapter members will have through a successful college project. So this is something that we hope all of you will engage in. It is at the 4-star level of the 5-star chapter plan, and it's on your way to becoming a 5-star chapter with what I believe is going to be our next topic, the Honors in Action Project. Yes. So Susan?
I guess it would help to unmute, which I thought I did. I put in the chat, let me put it in there, the place you can find a lot of Honors in Action resources. Honors in Action is a project that addresses the second part of Phi Theta Kappa's mission to provide opportunities for college students to grow as scholars and leaders. So while the college project is all about honing and developing that relationship with your college administrators, Honors in Action is all about you having those opportunities and providing those opportunities to grow as scholars and leaders who serve your communities, however you define that. And Honors in Action is really designed to engage everybody in informed, intentional action. And it's meant to foster student success. And you can learn a lot and take a lot of skills from working on an Honors in Action project. We've been trying to tell people, don't fear this. Sometimes people will tell us, well, Honors in Action is too complex. It's too much. We can't do this. You can. We've seen it over a lot of years. It just takes 1 or 2 really passionate people to work on an Honors in Action project. The important thing with Honors in Action is following the process, which we'll talk about in a second, but you can learn so much about project planning, about setting goals, about stretching yourself in ways that you're hoping to grow, about how to really engage collaborators. And you don't have to do it on your own. And I like to use this example, and this one's for Dr. Liesl Harris, who I know is here. But if you look at Nick Saban, the coach of the University of Alabama's football team, who's considered by many people the greatest of all time. He recruits great players. I mean, they go to Alabama because Alabama wins. And he recruits people who know how to play football. They've done it well for a lot of years. That's you, right? You are good students, you're scholars, you're leaders, you're chapter officers, and your members. You've taken this step. But Nick Saban and his assistant coaches don't say, hey, you guys know how to play football. I'll see you on Saturday, right? And so the reason I use that example is Honors in Action is a really, really good opportunity to bring in coaches who can and help you with things that maybe you do well, but you'd like to do better, or things that you're not really sure about how to do, and you'd like to learn how to do those. Those coaches might be your chapter advisors. They might be other faculty on campus. They might be administrators. They might be staff members. They might be community members. Talk with your chapter advisors about this, because it's really helpful to have people coach you and facilitate your work so that you can grow your skills and gain a lot out of Honors in Action. And so we do have a process, and I mentioned that it's really the important thing with Honors in Action. It's been a great equalizer, and I think it's on the next slide. Honors in Action isn't just for big chapters. It's also not just for little chapters, but Anybody can do this in a team of at least 2 people. And you want to investigate and analyze. You investigate for this year, our 2022-2023 honor study topic, the art and science of play. There are 7 themes. You're going to pick one of those. We've mentioned the honors program guide. You want to take a look at it. That's the foundation. And there's lots of information there about setting objectives and about developing research questions and investigating academic sources and developing research conclusions, which are really important because that's how you go and determine an action. When you're looking at these 3 things and looking at the honors program guide, again, the really important thing is to follow the process. To start with the investigating and analyzing, then go on to the strategizing and leading, and then assess and reflect. And one of the things that we hope you'll see is that everything from investigating the honor study topic to submitting your Honors in Action Hallmark Award entry, that reflection piece is important. That's the whole part of the process, and we want to hear what you're doing. That's important to us. You make a difference in the world. We want to know about that. So we're going to go more into Honors in Action later in the year, but don't let the complexities stop you. You can learn so much. You can grow as scholars and leaders, and you can make a really intentional and impactful difference in your communities.
Thank you, Susan. Thanks, Jennifer. Okay, let's see what we have next. We're going to do Q&A real quick, but before we do that, in the PowerPoint that we will send you this exact PowerPoint. You'll see our contact information. You have specific questions about Honors in Action or college project or chapter development or anything to do with leadership or 5-star. Those are our email addresses there. You'll be able to contact us and we'll get right back to you. But the next things I want, the next 2 important things I wanted to show you is our upcoming sessions, right? So in June, we're going to meet with the advisors and talk about planning and tracking your chapter success through the 5-star plan. And then we invite chapter advisors and leaders on June 22nd, where we do the deep dive into the 5-star chapter plan for the year, right? And how you as chapter officers can take responsibility and leadership for that, right? And I often say, I was talking to Jennifer the other day, what is a good way of encouraging people to remember to set their goal, right? We struggle with that sometimes. And so I'm thinking, what's the first thing you do when you get out of bed? You might go down, you might get out, put your slippers on and go to the bathroom, whatever. But the next thing is brush your teeth, right? You definitely want to brush your teeth before you start the rest of the day. As a chapter officer, your job is to get up in the morning, brush your teeth, and then have a meeting and set your 5-star goal. That's all we want you to do. We want you to set it at 5 and we will get you there, right? We promise to all of the support that you've heard and seen from today, you will get that through your entire year. So join us for that. And then in July, it's all about the college project. We'll do that deep dive. Some chapters may already have started their college project. If you have, that's great. If you haven't, that's okay too. Don't feel that you're behind just because we're doing it in July, right? We'll take the deep dive on college project, right? And you go through all of the things from start to finish. And then in August, we haven't set the dates yet, but more than likely will be Honors in Action month. So we will work with the advisors first, and then of course, bring everybody back in to do a full presentation on the Honors in Action. So save these dates, and these will be included in the email the follow-up email that we send within the next 24 hours. So just wanted to give everybody, this is your homework assignment, right? We talked about things that I think you really should do that you should take upon yourself. If you haven't completed Competitive Edge, you should do that. If you're not taking summer classes, now's the time to do it. If you are, you might have some extra time, do it, right? Don't do it on the weekend, save the weekends for play. Do Competitive Edge and complete Research Edge. That's going to set you up and prepare you for success and your fellow chapter members. The other thing is when you receive the PowerPoint, that slide that Ryan was talking about, that resource slide, I want you to go through them, right? Take a look at them. Jot down a couple of things that interest you or that you think it's important, right? Make that the topic of your first meeting. You'll have something to talk about at your first meeting, or maybe you're meeting with the advisor, right? So that you can have a conversation and it's not a room full of, okay, what do we do next? What should we do next? What should we do next? You know, be the leader, take the lead on that. And the other thing I always encourage is team, definitely that first unit of the leadership development studies, right? That developing your leadership philosophy. It's really great to do it now and then later on do it again, because your leadership philosophy changes as you change, as you learn, as you gain knowledge, right, as you experience things. So definitely take a look at that. So that's your homework. I'm not grading you on your homework, but I'm going to see, because we'll see who's doing competitive edge and research edge and all of that. And we'll see the improvements that we're going to see in the chapter. So that's your homework as a chapter officer, as a leader, as a member. And always remember that you can contact any of us for additional support. So before we go, we're just going to take a couple of minutes. Does anybody have any questions, burning questions that they have to have an answer right now? Anybody?
Jackie, you raised your hand.
Okay.
Hi.
Oh, go ahead, Jackie.
So I was recently elected chapter president, which I'm very excited about, but also, like you said, when we started, thank you, everyone. Like you said, when we started this session, like you said, how many of you are nervous? And I'm one of those people. So I guess the biggest thing, well, last semester, our chapter was kind of like, you know, back and forth. I feel like not everybody was on the same page, and it's my goal to make everybody on the same page. So does anyone have any advice? Because last semester we were going back and forth with, when should the fellowship meetings be today? When should it be? Oh, I'm busy. Oh, I'm not busy. And we were having such a hard time finding like a common ground on when we should meet, the things we should do, and then also officer engagement. So I guess I'll just bring one thing that I was thinking of is like officer check-ins. So my first idea for our first meeting would be to just have everyone say what ideas they have for the chapter, and then go on from there and make a calendar. Everyone has to be responsible for a meeting, because I just feel like our chapter has been kind of falling behind, and everybody, you know, on the same page, and that's my goal. So if anybody here or you or have any advice for everyone being on the same page, and, you know, no room for questions, like everyone knows what we're doing when we're doing.
I think as it relates to chapter officer meetings, you know, there are practices where chapter officers meet as an executive meeting with the advisor or not, depending on that schedule. And then you have a general membership meeting at a different time. And sometimes the chapter officers will rotate responsibility of the general membership meeting, or sometimes they're just all together. I didn't have enough time to do 2 meetings a month. I put them all together because I think general membership should hear what the officer team is doing. So I think it's a good idea if you can. You can't please everybody's schedule. That's never going to happen. But I will say this, one of the things, you see what we're doing now, this is one of the positives to come out of the pandemic, right? Because we're using virtual communication, even when we could be in the same, well, we can't be in the same room right now, but like if we were on a campus and the campus was open, we could be. But what about the people who are working, who can't, or have to study, or have children and they're an officer? You can either record the meeting or make it a virtual, a hybrid, so that they can. So that's a positive now, right? Try and infuse that as well. And the other thing is this, I always say, this is my philosophy. If one person comes to your meeting and they're the only ones that want to hear about it, they are worth going through a formal meeting just to have it, even if it's just one person, right? So don't worry about the numbers. Don't worry who can, just who. Find that consensus, find a balance of a hybrid situation where people can attend meetings, and then you'll decide, you know, work with your advisor, I think, to figure out what the first step should be. That's the best resource for that.
Okay, thank you so much. And thanks to everyone in the chat. So like we have a group chat. It's just kind of hard getting everyone to answer, because I think a lot of messages kind of just, you know, go over everyone's head. So I'm definitely going to like copy and paste everything that everyone said in this. So thank you so much for your time, and congrats.
You're welcome.
being in Phi Theta Kappa at all. Like it's PTK is such a huge part of me now, and I'm really grateful to be here. So thank you to everyone.
No, thank you for being here. We so appreciate your willingness to take on the roles of chapter leaders, and whether you're advisors or your chapter officers or your members who are taking leadership roles. That's how Phi Theta Kappa can be stronger. You make us stronger. So we're very excited that you are taking on your roles and your duties and responsibilities and challenges, and that you'd spend the time with us today. So thank you.
Yes. And stay connected. That's why we're doing these sessions, and we want your feedback. So if there's anything in particular that you want us to address that you're not seeing in our topics, please don't hesitate to let us know that. We can also still do one-on-ones, but we want these sessions to reach as many people as possible.
Mhm.